Hello. Have you ever wanted to see on a single dashboard either all of your customers or all of your beers lined up together? So just a one-stop shop to be able to scan through there and in only a minute or two, be able to get some deep insights on how they both compare to each other and then how each of them have been trending over time. So I'll show you a Tableau dashboard that does just that. It's going to combine demand information from both your wholesale and point of sale system, bring it into a common data source. And then it's going to show these different analytics based on that individual customer or product view and give you some good insights. Okay, so here's our customer summary. Let me walk you through what we're looking at here, and we'll try to find a few insights. First of all, I just want to point out that this allows you to choose different periods of time in doing a comparison. So right now, what this one is doing in our example is comparing December through the end of February of this last year to December through February of the previous year. So we're getting kind of a winter comparison year over year. Okay, now what we're doing is we're basically stacking up the top 12 customers that you have. You'll notice that these are all kind of generic customer names, but this is built off of some real data. So these are all sorted right now by total sales dollars. You'll see there's a lot of different metrics on the screen. First up is going to be our gross margin percent. So you can see how each customer is in the same general range, but they bounce around a little bit from maybe a low of 65 up to a high of 74 in this case for some of our wholesale customers. Okay, next up is looking at a comparison of do they normally purchase kegs to sell as draft or do they purchase cans from us? And I think for most of our customers, as we're looking down, we mostly see that gray color, meaning they mostly buy kegs from us. We have a few that just buy cans, and those are market type places with Whole Foods, so that makes sense. They don't have a draft system. And then we see some other places that buy both kegs and cans from us. Okay, next in line is this is a breakdown between are they buying our flagship beers, and those are going to be our main beers that we always have on draft and we promote the most, versus some of our seasonal beers, which are maybe rotating tap handles. In this case, most of our customers are buying our flagships, but some are interested in also getting some of our seasonal beers on draft. So that's interesting to look at. Okay, so next up, we're going to see how different sales metrics rank for each of these customers. So first, we're looking at their total sales for that period. So our highest selling customer, Resort A, was about $20,000, and second most was about $19,000. And then we're going to see what their change has been from the previous year. So you can do that a few different ways. One is you can look at this little bar and then arrow. This arrow is last year. This bar is this year. So in this case, the arrow is to the right of the bar, meaning they don't have as high of sales this year. And that's also indicated here by this arrow pointing down and down 26%. So showing that Resort A is down 26%. You'll see Resort C looks a little different, and the reasoning for that is we didn't sell to them last year. They're a relatively new customer for us. So basically everything this year is a year-over-year increase. And you can kind of scan down through some of these other customers and see what their performance year to date is so far. Okay, next up, we're going to look at their trend. So this is going to show about a year and a half of information, and we're just seeing how their sales have trended over time. A few things maybe stand out as your eyes are looking down that list. We'll see that our second customer that we already mentioned started mid-year this year, and that's why their trend line is a little bit shorter than some of the others. Resort A is interesting because they might be a seasonal resort, so they look to maybe spike up in the winter times and dip down in the summertime is what we're looking at there. Some customers are trending up, some are trending down, but this is a good way for us to see what the demand pattern for each of them is kind of in relation to each other. Next up, we're going to see how many barrels they're buying. So sales dollars are one thing. It's also interesting to see, well, what is the demand of beer in volume that we're selling to them? So that's what this is doing. Oh, one other thing to mention is this is converting cans or cases into a barrel amount. So we're kind of normalizing volume that way. So we're just seeing, are they purchasing more or less a barrel volume than the previous year, and what does that trend look like? Okay, so I just switched over to the beer summary. I'll do this one a little quicker since I already explained a lot of it. Now, as you can see, we're looking at our top 12 beer categories. These are all types of beer. We're again ranking them by the sales volume. First up, we're going to look at margin, just like we did with customers. You'll see now that we're looking at beers, we have a wider range of margins than we did with our customers. And we probably go from about 73% up to about 93%. So pretty wide range there. That would be interesting for us and some other dashboards we have to dive into that a little bit and understand why we have such a mixture of sales margins amongst our beers. We won't be able to get to quite that level of detail on this dashboard. This one is really just to give you a high level overview of what's going on. Okay, then we're going to see, do we mostly sell cans or kegs for each of these beers? And you can see there is a variety. Some only come out in kegs. Others, we sell a lot of cans. So that's kind of an interesting look. Next up is the majority of our sales dollars coming out of wholesale in blue or the tap room in orange? So again, we can see all of our beers have slightly different demand patterns. Probably the one that stands out the most is pale ale, is the only one that has the majority blue, meaning most of our pale ale goes out as wholesale. All of our other beers, at least 50% or more, we sell out of the tap room. And then next up, we're breaking it down by our flagships. So in this case, we have 4 main flagship beers. What percent are they of each of their individual categories? And then what is a seasonal beer? So you can see how that lays out on the screen. Okay, and then similar to the customer point of view, we're looking at just total sales. And then we're seeing how that has trended from the comparison period we're doing. So for this first beer, for example, hazy IPAs are our highest selling beer, but they're down 10% over last year. And then we can see monthly volume to see what's going on in total. And maybe in this case, hazy IPAs have had kind of a steady decline. It's not real drastic, but looking at that line, it looks like it's kind of continually going down, except for the most recent month, which bumped up a little bit. This would be another one, West Coast IPAs, that looks like we've had a recent decline in too. So again, this dashboard's not going to be able to show you exactly like what customers are causing the decline or what else it might be, but we have other dashboards that we can really, now that we have some place to start, we can go in and dive into some of these to see exactly what the root cause of these trends are. Okay, and then finally, we're going to see how many barrels we're producing of each of these beers, and then what the change in barrelage is, and then a trend over time for barrels. So I like both of those dashboards because they're nice and simple, easy to view, but they give you quite a bit of high-level insights that you then could dive deeper into more purpose-built dashboards, you know, to really drill into what's going on with the margin or maybe with the sales decline. But this at least lets you see all of your beers and customers stacked against each other to see, are they all kind of trending in the same direction, or are we getting some variety in demand trends amongst those? So I hope that was an interesting look at what a simplified dashboard for a summary on beers and customers would look like. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to see some of your information put into a dashboard like this, please contact me. My email is jeremy@centralcoast-analytics.com. Again, that email is jeremy@centralcoast-analytics.com. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.